Now today we're going to take a look at the ABR triple threat available at treestuff.com. Now I've been known to put together a lot of my own gear if I feel like I can make it and have it be somewhat similar. But when I saw how well this was made and how cool it was and how neatly these are all stitched onto this ring as opposed to having to tie knots or something if I made it myself, and I don't know how to splice, so that's out. But this is going to be able to pass through a crotch a lot nicer than if I had tied knots myself. So what we're going to do is take a look at what this even is and how to utilize it to its maximum potential in the tree. Now, how useful this is going to be is going to depend on a few things: size and shape of the tree and what the task is that you have to do in the tree. And that's the same for whether you're going to choose double rope or single rope, or what technique you're going to use to get the work done. This is going to shine in a broad spreading tree where you have to do a lot of things in different parts of the tree. And once we get up there, we're going to see what I'm talking about. Alright, what we have here is 3 different ropes stitched onto this ring of different lengths: 80 foot, 120, and 100. You're going to choose one of these as your basal anchor tying point, generally, unless you're doing a canopy anchor, which might be a little difficult with the system. And you're going to ascend up one or both of the other two. The way you utilize this is going to depend on the shape of the tree. You could have one of these up in a rope bag, clip to the top here, and ascend one part. Basically what you're going to do is, when you get out there, chuck this over towards the area where you want to transfer to, so you can swing over without doing an up and over redirect. You'll see what I'm talking about. The way I'm going to use this is with a little system that I sort of developed around contest time. Very similar, if not almost just like Jared's spider system, only when I developed mine, it was before they said you could use the rope wrench in competition. So I had to come up with another way to utilize the benefits of SRT without actually using the rope wrench. I call it the Schultz system. The Schultz system, very simply, is just a secret weapon on an access line, only utilized totally different. What you're going to do is, this system you probably already know. You got your double rope system set up on a secret weapon, but you're going to make one that's remotely retrievable for use elsewhere in the tree. So I got my retrieval ball, passes through, and I can retrieve this or have another one, and that's just this old trick here. Take at least 6 wraps, 7 if you can. This only holds 6. And again, this is not entirely foreign. Relatively simple. That way I have the advantage of being lowered and I'm foot locking, or I could set up a frog walking system to ascend this, the one-to-one advantage. Frog walking is also less exhausting than, say, just if I was foot locking a double line and then switching up, changing over to my system in the tree. This way there's immediate switch over without having to do it in the canopy. The Schultz system just utilizes this in a different way. What I do is I take the end of my access line and use it in the canopy. Throwing this over another crotch, if I can retrieve the tail end, now I have this part of the rope successfully redirected, and And I can either retain this suspension point and have a second point here, or yank this and redo it over here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so right now, just pretend I'm working off my double rope off my access line, and I want to go work the tree over here. Throw tail of my access line over another crotch, almost like I'm redirecting with a rope wrench. And now I have this new redirected tie-in point. How I'm going to work it from here depends on if I have to go back there or not. If I have to go back there, I'm going to loosen this, leave this tie-in point, and attach to this one, and maybe leave this clip to the line. So when I go to work this with another system, I can come back to it, transfer back to it, keep working this part of the tree again. If I wasn't going back to that part of the tree, I can now attach myself to the access line over here some simple way. I'm just going to do some kind of little prusik. Now I can tighten this up, loosen this, retrieve it, or set up a new one. Secret weapon retrieved. Now I attach it over here. Take this off. Now I'm successfully redirected to a different part of the canopy. Now, this is a little more complicated than single line. This is a little more complicated than, say, rope wrenching or any of the other single line techniques. The advantage of it is I don't have to go up and over to make a redirect. If I can throw the rope up and over, or throw it from a different position in the canopy, I never have to climb out to a high point where my rope angle is very steep. Especially if you're working a very decurrent tree, where all the crotches are the same height. You can achieve your redirect without having to put yourself in that position. The disadvantage of the Schultz system: extra rope, extra gear, extra complicated, I guess. It's not for every tree. It's very rare, actually. Well, depending on what kind of trees you have in your area. So, what the ABR triple threat is going to allow me to do is do that action without stringing one access line all over the place. And it's going to make the transfers a lot easier. But we're going to take a look at that in the canopy. Okay, now that I've used this one leg to transfer over there and do that whole side of the tree, I retained this side and retransferred back to it with the Schultz system. So now I could leave that length of rope over there, not even use it, just leave it hanging over there, and just continue to work this side of the tree over here, just using this leg, transferring and redirecting on and off of it with the secret weapons there. So now we're going to transfer to the other side of the tree using only this side. We can leave this over there, or I could, because I took it with me, I could throw it through crotches over here and still keep this as my main central tying point to keep transferring and going back to as I weave in and out of these crotches without ever having to climb up and over them.